watching Fox 29 Morning News.
Well, they're lifesavers in our community. Their work is irreplaceable. We learned the jobs of EMTs and paramedics and just how important they really are.
Many things. This morning, he is getting a lesson in life-saving.
He is. He's in Voorhees learning about the difference between traditional ambulances and this new vehicle. What is it, Nick? Good morning again.
Good morning, Carrie Lee. You know, Scott Casper is here to explain all of that to us there. He is the corporate director of EMS and Virtual Health here. The reason we came out today is one of the reasons we wanted to talk about, Scott, is we hear people say, oh, ambulance drivers. First of all, they're not ambulance drivers. They are trained professionals who provide a medical emergency service here, right?
That's correct. Ambulance driving is just one part of the job.
I could drive an ambulance. I mean, that's not the same thing as what you all actually do. You all are there to save lives.
That's correct. When someone dials 911 when they're having a life-threatening emergency, they rely on the professionals that show up in the ambulance to help immediately intervene, to begin to improve their health and to be able to get them to the hospital in a very timely fashion.
Scott, one of the reasons we're here today is we want to talk about the differences between the different vehicles there, you know, the ambulance and the other emergency response vehicle. Talk to us about what we're seeing right now. This is a traditional ambulance that we're looking at over our shoulder here?
This is the ambulance. This is the ambulance here that's in service to the township of Voorhees. It's a typical ambulance. This is what the patient would be transported to the hospital in here in South Jersey. This ambulance would be staffed with 2 emergency medical technicians. Those guys are trained in all sorts of different techniques to really begin to
and very often
provide,
the first responders to an emergency situation, right?
They are, in fact, the first responders to the emergency situation. They begin to immediately render care to a patient who's sick or injured. And the paramedic unit would follow on cases where the patient would require...
And that there would be the paramedic unit over to the right of our screen there, right?
That is the paramedic unit. It would arrive with 2 paramedics as well as the equipment that they would carry in order to provide some more advanced life-saving procedures.
Gotcha. I'm glad you said advanced life-saving procedures because your paramedics who would arrive first in the ambulance would then say, hey, look, we need additional help with such and such?
Yeah, the EMTs would triage the patient. They would determine that the patient needed additional assistance. The paramedics would be able to jump right in the back of the ambulance with the EMTs. We always work as a team, and we'd be able to provide that advanced level care along with the assistance of the EMTs in that ambulance.
Well, Scott, I'm glad you said you talked about how you all work as a team. This morning we're out here because I know that you really wanted to make sure you passed along important information to the public. What is it that you want our viewers to walk away with there when we talk about what it is that you all do here?
Well, I think that, you know, the first thing is folks should feel comfortable when they dial 911. They're going to have professionals arrive to provide them their assistance in a very timely fashion and at a very high level quality of care. The other thing we want folks to know is that there is a difference between EMTs and paramedics. They both have a very distinct and very important role in the delivery of care. We have few paramedic units throughout the county, whereas every single township in the county has their own ambulance service. Folks need to be comfortable to know that their community is covered with their ambulance service should they have an emergency, and they also need to feel comfortable to know that if their emergency is extreme, the paramedics will be there very quickly.
Scott, I know that you're actually going to teach me some basic things a little bit later that you want people at home to know and everything there as well.
Absolutely. Right? The public are actually the true first responders. They can be their own assistants when they dial 911.
Well, Scott, I appreciate that. I know that we've got a lot more to learn. I'm going to send it back to you all, Carrie Lee, in the studio. Again, we're coming to you live from Virtual Health here in Voorhees, New Jersey.